Hello and welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all are doing amazing out there, taking care of yourselves and loving yourselves and appreciating yourselves and just enjoying life as much as possible. And I know I say that a lot, but it's something I truly mean. There's so much of life that goes past us. There's so much that kind of comes into our space that's not the most pleasant, that we kind of get distracted by, and we forget to actually enjoy our lives, to enjoy right now, because our life is happening right now. So enjoy as much as possible. In each and every moment, try to reach for that joy, try to reach for that satisfaction, try to reach for that peace that you seek to have in your life. Try to reach for it right now in this moment. And as we kind of accumulate more and more of those moments, then it turns out to be an entire day, an entire week, and we find ourselves moving in the direction that we've always wanted to move in. So kind of getting along with this episode. The episode, as you can tell, is on beauty, and this is a topic that was sent in by you, so thank you so much for sending this topic. I know that these topics are few and far between as far as just when I'm doing topics that you send in, but, when I'm getting these topics, I think it's so incredible that it just gets me to think about something that maybe I haven't had an opportunity to think about. And as I've said before, there's so many times when things get in our lives, things get in our mindset and our energy field, and we get distracted by it. We get pulled in all these different directions, and there's so much in life, so many topics, so many aspects of life that we just don't get the chance or the opportunity to think about. And you sending these topics in, they really give me that opportunity to think about these things. And each time we're presented with new questions and new circumstances, new situations, we're allowing ourselves to start thinking of new things and thinking about things that are so much a part of our experience here, our experience in this life. And that's something really special. So thank you again. Everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any thoughts or ideas or anything that you'd like to send in regarding this podcast or anything. So with this being the topic for this upcoming week, we have this bag here with all the other topics. And again, everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com, or any of the social media groups that I will link at the end of this podcast. You can send anything that is of interest to you, and I'd love to hear from you. So I'm just going to shake this bag and kind of dig through here and see what we have for next week. And it looks like the topic that's drawn is farming industry. And, this is something that's really interesting because, the farming industry is something that's not the agricultural industry, so not like produce being farmed, but, animals being farmed for food and different services like that, like food and milk and byproducts and things like that. And, there's a lot of different perspectives and views that can go into this conversation. So I'm really excited to speak about that. And, I think that there's, again, so much that goes into just what this really means. So yeah, I'm excited to speak about that. Thank you so much for sending that in. Again, everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com if you have any topics or ideas or anything that you'd like to share with this podcast. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. So again, this week is on beauty. And, this is a topic that I think is truly amazing because beauty is something that's truly dynamic. It's something that's incredibly dynamic. And I'll probably say this a few times during this podcast, but beauty is truly in the eyes of the beholder. And with that being the case, it's really something that's very dependent upon like what we're trying to identify as being beautiful. And when we see this word, oftentimes we look at human beauty. We look at the beauty of the physical body. And unfortunately, within our society, within many kind of cultures that are starting to perpetuate throughout the world, or many ideas of what beauty is that's being perpetuated throughout the world, start to make us feel as though there's this standard of beauty. And there's this way that, like there's beautiful and there's not beautiful. And that's a dichotomy that I don't really believe in, because I think that there's beauty in so much. There's beauty in all people. I mean, there may be beauty that's on a standard level or a general consensus that people would say, okay, this person is beautiful, but there's beauty that's held within all aspects of humanity. I mean, honestly, I work on a garden, and there's so much abundance of just different flowers and plants and trees and just things that are truly dynamic, but it's all beautiful. Some have thorns, some kind of turn different colors when they get older, or sometimes they do different things, but they're all very beautiful. And as I was kind of looking at these things, I was looking at humanity in the same light, and how every single person is like a beautiful flower. And I know it may sound corny, but every person is like a beautiful flower, and it doesn't matter what shape you're taking on or what color this flower is. It doesn't matter. It's like there's beauty that's held within it. There's beauty that's held just within the essence of it existing. And I find that all people are incredibly beautiful because of the uniqueness that they bring to this world. Even twins, identical twins, I mean, they can look as much alike as possible, but they even have their own uniqueness to them. And as we see uniqueness as just the essence of who you are, then we look way more and way beyond just the physical essence of who you are. And we see that there's beauty that's held here. And we know that there's this depth of beauty because we see that there are many situations where someone may be physically beautiful and people may say, oh, you're beautiful on the outside, but not on the inside. And there's a beauty that pervades this skin, this external essence that we have. And it's the essence of who we are. And like that is something so incredibly beautiful. And I know that this idea of beauty may start to go abstract as we start to look at these things that aren't very tangible, but there are many things that we acknowledge as beautiful that aren't tangible. There are moments that are beautiful. There are experiences. There's music that's beautiful. There are things that we acknowledge as being very, very beautiful. Even concepts and ideas and just beliefs that people have that can be incredibly beautiful. And these things aren't something that can be necessarily seen. And of course, we have things like art and nature and things that can be seen that can be identified as being beautiful to the eyes, but there's beauty that exists in so many different levels of our experience that it's something truly to behold. It's something truly to acknowledge and kind of look at and say, wow, this moment right now of peace is so beautiful. The transformation that I've experienced throughout my life is so beautiful. I was in this place before and now I'm recognizing more of my strengths. I'm recognizing that I value the direction that I'm going in. I feel more passionate in my life, more inspired in my life. And compared to how I was before, this is something that is incredibly beautiful to witness. Witnessing your own growth is something so beautiful. So with this idea of beauty, I really want to just encompass the idea that beauty dwells in all aspects of life. And when something is found to be beautiful, think about if you've been told that you're beautiful. You are beautiful. And how it feels good. It feels really good to be told that you're beautiful. And it may not even be like a conceited thing. It can be like, oh, this artwork is beautiful. That idea that you just said is beautiful. Those words that you just said were really beautiful. And that is something that feels really good. And within each and every aspect of life, there is beauty that's held there. And as we acknowledge that beauty, we feel more good. We feel the goodness of that beauty pervading into our essence because we acknowledge it. Nature is there and it's always there, but if everyone was blind, who would see it? It's our receiving of that and saying, oh my gosh, this is so incredibly beautiful. That starts to give us that awe-inspiring feeling within us. And when we start to find those beauties within every aspect of ourself, then you're just walking around filled with that amazing feeling of beauty because you're recognizing that every breath that you take, every motion that you make, every smile that you give is something incredibly beautiful. Every obstacle that you overcome, every strength that you pull out of yourself, every milestone that you reach, it's something so beautiful. And as we, again, acknowledge this beauty, it's something that will show up more and more in our experience because we're acknowledging it and it wants to be acknowledged. So often we get down on ourselves for not achieving something in a certain way or even not living up to a certain standard, whether that's a physical beauty standard or the standard that parents set or society sets, whatever that may be. And we find ourselves in this place where we're not valuing our experience, our circumstance, ourselves. And that's something that hinders us so much because we're not acknowledging the beauty that is within every single moment. And again, when we're in those difficult and challenging and dark places, it doesn't seem like life is beautiful. I was just speaking about this earlier about the depression that I've spoken about many times in this podcast that I've gone through, and life didn't seem very beautiful. There were beautiful things. I was surrounded by beauty. I was in a very beautiful place and surrounded by redwoods and ocean, and it was incredibly gorgeous, gorgeous place. I didn't notice it. I wasn't noticing it. My awareness wasn't there to notice it, and therefore it wasn't showing up in my experience. And it didn't matter how many people pointed out beautiful things to me. In that dark space, in that direction that I was looking, I wasn't seeing it. and I didn't want to be reminded that it was there. So recognize the beauty of being exactly where you are, and love yourself in each and every moment of where you are, but also know that that beauty is still there. Know that when you are ready to look at something beautiful, that it's within you, it is you, it's around you, it's surrounding you. Throughout all the chaos, throughout all of the fog and distortion and disarray that is in our experience so many times, I promise you there is beauty there. And it may not be until 5, 10 years later when we look behind and look back and say, wow, I was in a really dark place. I was in a really tough place. I really didn't believe in myself. I really didn't love myself. Yet the feeling that I have now, the experiences that I'm having now, what's surrounding me in my life now is so amazing to even notice that this transformation took place. It's incredibly beautiful. And as we acknowledge that more and more, we're filled with that feeling that is vitalizing. It's a vitalizing essence of life. So many people go into nature and they are stricken with awe of the beauty of it. And it's something that it just wakes you up. It's something that makes you feel more connected. Isn't that so strange? That we feel so connected in these places that we find beauty. And when we find that beauty within ourselves, it's peace that we find within ourselves. Just like the peace that you find when you're in nature or looking at the ocean or looking at a sunset. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, it's abundant, it's you. You are a beautiful flower, you are a beautiful ray of light, you are that. And as we notice that beauty in every single moment of our experience, we can rise and move more towards that beauty. And the biggest thing about this all is that beauty has been something that has been deemed as a judgment. It's something that we judge this thing as being beautiful, not beautiful. Life itself is beautiful, and every person is beautiful. Every flower that is in this world and in existence is beautiful. And as we acknowledge that within ourselves and allow that beauty to radiate within every essence of ourselves, how unique you are, it doesn't matter these physical beauty standards that are out there. These are unrealistic, and they don't show the true beauty of diversity. They don't show the true beauty of humanity. They don't show that. So it's up to you to recognize that beauty exists in all different forms, not just the ones that the media wants to display. Beauty exists within you. Beauty is you. And as we start to own that within ourselves, we can look at the world around us and all of those around us and recognize that they are just as beautiful. They are a beautiful ray of light, and it doesn't matter who they are or what they've done or where they've been. There is a beauty that is within the fabric of all of creation. And I know that may be going a little bit far, but I mean, truly, it is amazing. Like, I mean, even scientists recognize the amazing beauty that is the essence of life. Like, what is it? Like, what is this experience? What is this air that we breathe? What is this sun that warms our face and our planet and gives life to things? What is this experience? What is it? Because it's all so perfectly manicured to allow us to even contemplate all these concepts. And how incredibly beautiful is that? And again, so often we get wrapped up in these things on this planet, on this rock that's floating in the middle of space. Like, what are we even doing? Like, what even is this? What is this? And we get distracted by all these other things, all these problems that we've created for ourselves on this planet that, again, we've literally created the societies and the way that we function. We've created this and we've gotten so wrapped up in it that we forgot the beauty that exists within just this awe-inspiring life that we live. This ability to even live life and contemplate these ideas and think about these things and feel different things and all these things that are so not even tangible, things that we can't even see, is most of our experience, and it's incredible. It's truly incredible. And it may not always feel incredible, but it is incredible. And as we kind of recognize how incredible it truly is, we recognize that that incredibility is also incredibly beautiful. And as we recognize that within all aspects of life, we can walk through life with a new pair of lenses, a lens that is clear, a lens that allows us to truly see life for what it is. I mean, is a diversity that's here that, I mean, why is it here? Why do we have so much diversity? Why are there so many different things if it wasn't meant for us to appreciate each and every one of them for whatever they offer. Even those dark moments, as I've spoken about time and time again, they offer clarity, they offer understanding, they offer you a way to realize a strength within yourself that you may not have known that you had. And many times, many people may not want to deal with those negative circumstances or those situations, but they are beautiful in their own way. And as we move to the beauty of who we are, we have less and less of those hardships because we're looking at the world through a different pair of lenses. We're being more true to ourselves because we love ourselves. We find ourselves beautiful. We find ourselves beautiful in a part of everything else that is beautiful around us. Because you are. So as we think about this idea of beauty, not only are we breaking down the barriers of what physical beauty is, or what we define as beauty, we're also expanding just what it truly means. And as we have that expansion within ourselves, that also pervades to outside of ourselves in the world around us. And as we see the world as beautiful, I promise you, the world will light up just as if you told someone sitting across from you that they were beautiful. You see the way that someone lights up when you tell them that they're beautiful. As you see the world in that way, the world will light up before your eyes. I promise you that. The world will light up before your eyes and show its beauty to you. You'll see beauty everywhere you turn. And that will be a fulfilling force. That will be a motivating force that drives you to continue to move towards the beauty that you are. All of your ideas are beautiful. All of your passions are beautiful. All the things that make you feel good inside, that make you feel loving, that make you feel joy and excitement and clarity, all of that is incredibly beautiful. And as you pursue those things more, you'll find yourself in awe by all the things that come into your experience. And again, if you do find yourself in a dark place, in a place where you're struggling or feeling as though you're not really doing that well, look back at other experiences that you've been in that same situation or been in that same feeling state and realize all the things that's come out of it, all the beauty of that process that you've gone through, all the beauty of everything that's led you to where you are right now. It's all very much part of who you are and part of your experience, and that is something that cannot be refuted. So value the beauty of who you are and where you are in everything that you are, because there's so much beauty that's just being looked over in this world. And even as we look in that mirror, sometimes there is often a lot of beauty that's overlooked. And it's not just that physical beauty. It's everything that is held within you, everything that is held around you, all of the creations that you've built and you've created and manifested in your life. I mean, this is something that is truly, truly amazing. Every single moment. And again, it may be hard to see that, but recognizing those small moments when you do recognize that beauty is something that can pervade into each and every new moment and can allow that thought of darkness and disarray, of lack of beauty, lack of self-worth, all of that, it can be something that slowly starts to fade that into the background and allow you to be your true self and love yourself. So yeah, that's all I have for this episode. If you have any thoughts or ideas or anything that you'd like to send in, you can send those to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join any of the social media groups, Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter, @everysunpodcast, and the Facebook group, @everysunpodcast as well. And yeah, that's all I got. I love you all so abundantly, and I will talk to you soon.